When I owned Fit Training and Wellness, we really tried to take a bit of a holistic approach to health and well being. And sometimes people would come in and really all they were looking for, I got the sense, was like a good conversation or maybe even like a good cry. And sometimes we wouldn't even hit the weights. All we do is just sit and talk and work through some of their either like mental or emotional matters. And I honestly believe that those sessions were probably even more important and more impactful than a workout themselves. Okay. But every once in a while, people would come in and they'd just be in a funk. They'd be in a mood that they just couldn't shake. And I don't know if you've ever experienced that where, just low vibing or a little bit disgruntled or grumpy and that sort of thing. And that's when I would tell them the story about the time that I got an Italian tune up. And I used to own a BMW 330i, which was a beautiful car. I loved it. That thing just fit me like a glove. I loved the way that it felt. I loved the way that it sounded, the pickup and the speed. It was awesome. It didn't make much sense once we had kids and trying to haul around two kids and a dog and things like that. So we ended up, I don't want to say upgrading, but getting something bigger. Okay. But this one time, I found that I was hearing this sound coming from underneath the hood of my BMW. And I don't know anything about cars, okay? I mean, I could pop the hood and I could tell you, well, yeah, there's an engine there, but that's pretty much the extent of my, mechanics awareness, all right? So what I did was I actually brought in my BMW to the shop, brought it to the mechanics to see a specialist. And I explained what was going on, the sound that I heard and things like that. And the mechanic looked at me and he said, okay, no problem, toss me the keys. So I tossed him the keys and he said, okay, I'll be back in about 20 minutes. So I grabbed a seat in the waiting room and 20 minutes later, sure enough, the old guy pulls up and comes walking in and he says, there you go, it's all taken care of. And I kind of looked at him a little bit confused and I said, what happened? What was wrong? And he says, well, these kind of cars, okay, they're not meant for city driving. He says, while you're driving in the city, there's so much start, stop, start, stop. He's like, these cars, these are performance vehicles. They're meant to be taken out on the road and revved up, okay? Really put the pedal to the metal sort of thing. And what happens is, while we're doing all this city driving, oftentimes the engines and the system get all kind of clogged up, right? All kinds of debris and things like that just gunk the system up. And he says what he did was he took it out to the highway and blew out all the crap out the back end. And he said, sure enough, he said, here, it should run like purr like a kitten now. And so he tossed me the keys and I started it up. And sure enough, I mean, it was like a brand new car. And I share that story sometimes with people when they're struggling with a bad mood or they're in a little bit of a funk. And I encourage them or ask them, like, maybe you just needed a bit of an Italian tune-up, and we'd get our heart rate up, we'd get sweating, we'd get pushing some weights around, we'd be doing some sprints and I'll tell you, like 99 times out of 100, people always felt better, okay? So if you're ever in a funk or you just can't shake that vibe, maybe consider putting yourself through a little bit of an Italian tune-up. Get a sweat on and let me know how you feel afterwards. Cool?